the student of class 10th. Hello and welcome to science classes. As within 3 or 4 classes, we get very important concept. For life process, there is needs of energy, right? For fulfilling that energy, living the source of energy for living is obviously food, right? So for obtaining or utilizing of food is called nutrition, right? So basically in life process need energy, and for obtaining energy they must take food by a process that is called nutrition, right? And all of you understood nutrition may be of two types on the basis of either they make their food self or depend on other. One of them is autotrophic and other is heterotrophic type of nutrition. So today's topic is obviously related with the heterotrophic nutrition. Okay. So firstly we need to understand what is heterotrophic nutrition. Obviously organisms which take food from the depend on other organisms for their food is called heterotrophic nutrition. In class 7th and in previous classes, all of you are very much familiar. Heterotrophic nutrition may be accomplished by different methods. Some fungi, bacteria take their food by the dead and decaying material. So that is saprophytic mode of nutrition. And if you talk about, right, some kinds of animals, they take food from the body of other living, inside the body of other living. So that is already prepared food. They directly take from the body of other living. That is called parasitic type of nutrition. Okay, so if you talk about the parasite, then obviously there is host also, from where parasite take food, that is called host. Okay, so these are the some basic points, whatever that is not a part of your syllabus, but obviously you must be familiar with it. But next type where whole the food particles are engulfed by organism, that is called holozoic nutrition. Holozoic nutrition, right? So basically holozoic nutritions are accomplished by 5 steps. These 5 steps are obviously, first one is, all of you know, intaking of food, right? Next one is digestion of food, means breakdown of food. Digestion means breakdown of complex molecule into simple molecules. So first step, intaking of food. Second step is obviously related with the digestion of food. After digestion, food turn into simple molecules. Now that simple molecules are absorbed by the certain portion, that is called absorption. And now that food required to every cell of body, so that is assimilation, to distribute among the all body cells, that is assimilation. And at last those material which are not digested, that need to remove from the body, that is called, of course, egestion, right? So these are the steps, 5 steps of whatever you call heterotrophic nutrition or holozoic nutrition basically. So try to understand. Heterotrophic nutritions are certain examples are given in your NCERT book, and you must follow that examples, like amoeba. Amoeba is really amazing, which can change their body shape by the changing in the shape of plasma membrane, right? So just imagine food particles are here. Just imagine food particles are here. Okay, amoeba is here. Spherical shape may be amoeba. Now in next step, food particles are remains at their position, but amoeba surround it. And in next step, particle already entered inside the amoeba. The position of food particles remains same, but amoeba already engulf the food. So basically, that process we will talk about the process later. Firstly, that specialized structure through which amoeba intake food, that is also called false feet or pseudopodia, not pseudopodia, that is pseudopodia. Okay, and now that process of engulfing whole the cell, that's why that is called endocytosis. Endocytosis. Basically, endocytosis means to enter inside the cell. So that is endocytosis. So I hope is it clear. Now next examples are there, like that's a paramecium. Paramecium is a unique animal. All of you are familiar from the class 8 about the after understanding microorganism, right? In microorganism chapter you know very well that is unicellular microorganism, but it does not change their shape. Now that's why food, they have a specific point at which they may take food. Okay, they have certain specific. If food particle is here, then obviously by the ciliary muscles, I mean not muscles, cilia, that food particle travel from that portion to that particular specific portion, and now it is able to take food. So basically paramecium and amoeba complete their nutrition by the holozoic method. That's why whole the food particle they engulf, right? And it also contains some food vacuoles here, right? It also contains some food vacuole which contains some enzyme which break down the food particles. So basically the process of intaking food and whole the process is going to be same. That's why two examples are already given in your NCERT book about the amoeba and paramecium. Now next point is about the heterotrophic nutrition in human beings, right? All of you must familiar about the human being because we are also human beings. So human being is the most developed animal, and as all of you know, if work is very much complex, then that is not accomplished in the cell. Maybe it is not possible to complete it by the tissue, even it is not possible to work by the organs only. So it needs work, it needs organ system to complete that work. And similarly, same process, now digestion need a special organ system, that is called digestive system. And obviously digestive system is consist or completed in a specific tubular structure, and that is extended from mouth to anus, that is called alimentary canal. Get the point? That is called alimentary canal. So basically alimentary canal is a tubular structure extended from mouth to anus. Get the point? In that particular tubular structure, food are completely break down, and those food particles which are not break down, they will be removed from body. And these alimentary canal obviously consist of, first point is obviously mouth, right? Opening, external opening, which helpful not only for intaking of food, but it have very important points like teeth, next tongue, teeth, and another glands. What is name of that gland? Salivary gland. Salivary gland. Get the point? Now salivary gland secretes saliva, and saliva is generally watery substance present in our mouth which mix with food and make the food alkalis or basic. That's not matter at all whatever is it made, but one thing you must be familiar, that is saliva is 90 to 92% water, but it also contains some enzyme and name is salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is actually name of the enzyme. Is it clear? Very good. Now salivary amylase is enzyme which break down the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate. Okay. So basically in our mouth food mixed with saliva and convert into food bolus. So basically in our mouth stomach is there. Now in next point, that is convert into a very tubular structure, that is small intestine, and at last that is removed from body, and there is also a large intestine. Okay, we cannot express because of the it's not a 3D diagram. So try to understand whatever I am trying to express here. That's a food particles, right? Food particle firstly entered in mouth, and hold the concept of mouth to break down the food particles physically, mechanically by teeth. We have 4 types of teeth: incisor, canine, premolar, molar. All of you must familiar with these words. And now it contains a gland, name is salivary gland, which contains saliva. Saliva have a specific enzyme, salivary amylase, which break down the carbohydrate. Now food travel to the esophagus. Food travel to esophagus. Now esophagus have a special kinds of movement, vibrating movement, which helpful to move the food particle downward towards the stomach. Actually esophagus connect our mouth to a stomach, right? And it have a specific kinds of movement, and that is called, of course, that is called peristalsis movement. What is called peristaltis movement? Okay, so by the using of peristaltis movement, food molecules move downwards towards the stomach, and now food is entered in the stomach. So points to be remembered from esophagus, they have a specific kinds of vibrating movement. That's why food move downwards towards the stomach. Now third point, that movement is called peristaltis movement. Now next one is stomach. A stomach contains a juice, name is gastric juice. What is it? Gastric juice. Okay, it contains a specific kinds of juice. It secretes from the wall of stomach, right? It secretes from the wall of stomach. Okay, now try to understand that juice contains 3 things. First one is HCl, second one is mucus, and third one is pepsin. Okay, now all 3 components have a specific function. First one, HCl, kill the germs. HCl kill the germs present in food, because we know that microorganisms are everywhere, and you and me not interacting in the classroom because of one of the microorganisms, that is obviously neither living nor non-living virus, and that virus name is coronavirus, right? So germs are everywhere. Get the point? So kill the germs. And mucus, mucus means, what is mucus? Basically HCl kill the germs, make the food acidic, but sometimes it is maybe possible that HCl damage our wall also, because HCl all acidic acids are corrosive in nature, right? So sometimes it may be damage our stomach, right? That's why mucus protect wall of stomach from HCl. Okay. Now pepsin break down another component that is called protein. Okay. Pepsin break down the protein. Now food is completely acidic. Now food is free from germs and protein is breakdown in the stomach. Now food convert after mixing with the gastric juice, food convert into jelly like substance, not jelly like but obviously very thick curd like substance, and that is called chyme, right? So in the stomach after mixing with gastric juice, food convert into chyme. Is it clear? Now, above the stomach, there is a gland named as liver, right? Liver is the gland which secrete basically bile. Bile perform two functions. One, to neutralize the effect of acid or make food basic. Make food basic. Why there is need to make the food basic? For action of pancreatic amylase or pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice will not act on food until till when food will not in basic nature. Only try to understand, if HCl will not act in the stomach, then pepsin will also not act. So some enzyme need a specific medium to work. Similarly, pepsin need acidic medium to work. As same, here is food is basic, that's why pancreatic amylase easily act, right? Not only amylase but pancreatic juice easily act in basic food particles. Now, bile also emulsify, or you may call, in general term you may call breakdown, but in SOAP and obviously chapter carbon and its compound you will learn about the emulsification, just previous chapter or in 5th chapter I hope. So emulsify the fat. Basically fat is breakdown here. In general term we may call slightly breakdown, emulsification of fat. Now fat is here, protein is here, carbohydrate is here. So one time in mouth, stomach and by the action of bile, food are slightly breakdown. Okay. Why I am only talking about the three components of food, carbohydrate, protein and fat only, not about the vitamin and minerals, because they does not need to break down. Get the point? They does not need to break down because they are as possible as they are very simple. That's why they will directly enter in the cell and there is no needs to break down the vitamin and minerals. Okay, and only carbohydrate, protein and fat are breakdown. Okay, now food is entered in the small intestine. A small intestine. What is a small intestine? A small intestine is another next part from the stomach and it is narrow tube and it contains lots of enzyme. Two juices they contains. One is intestinal juice and another from the pancreas, pancreatic juice. So basically in pancreatic juice it contains three things. One is pancreatic amylase. Pancreatic amylase. Okay. Amylase break down the carbohydrate. Next, trypsin and lipase. Okay. After action of these enzymes on respectively like carbohydrate. Okay. Now protein, then trypsin, then protein, and lipase, then fat. It carbohydrate is converted into glucose. Okay. And protein convert into amino acid. Right. Amino acid. And fat convert into fatty acid. Fatty acid. So I hope is it clear. Now glucose, amino acid and fatty acid are very simple molecules and it can be digested. It can be easily absorbed by our cell and it is entered in the cell and helpful for the functioning of our body. So basically what we conclude from today's classes, like digestion of course digestion of food, right? So food need only three components to break down, and every component like carbohydrate needs to break down two times. First in mouth by the action of saliva, right? And second time by the action of pancreatic amylase. Amylase is an enzyme break down the carbohydrate, either salivary amylase or pancreatic amylase. Get the point? Now try to understand in a small intestine all three particles break down. But before reaching to the small intestine, all three particles already some enzyme act on it. Like in mouth, of course, salivary amylase act. In stomach, pepsin act over the protein, and before reaching to a small intestine, bile act to the fat, emulsify the fat. So now food particles completely break down into glucose, amino acid and fatty acid, glycerol also there, and now it is absorbed by the small villi. What is a small villi? So basically a small villi are finger-like structure present. Now it is able to intake the glucose. Okay. Now it is able to intake glucose and it is supplied through blood in all the body parts. Amino acid and fatty acid, all these molecules are absorbed by the blood and supplied to all parts of body. So after absorption there is assimilation, means equally distributed to the if how much required, that's determine the transportation system, we will discuss later. But now try to understand, after absorption certain food materials are not absorbed by our small villi or intestine. So water are reabsorbed by the large intestine. Another point is here, large intestine. So basically large intestine reabsorb the water present in food, right? So after reabsorption in large intestine, food is converted into semi-solid material. Undigested food is converted into semi-solid material, that is removed from body through rectum and then anus, stored in the rectum and then removed by the obviously anus, and that is known as a stool or fecal material. So basically what we learned today, food particles contains nutrient, it break down by the different processes, different enzymes, and that are reabsorbed, and whatever that is not absorbed need to remove from our body. Is it clear? And in next video we will see different types of ruminants animals and also few questions related with the nutrition. Thank you.